Right, so I think I've sorted it and solved it with a couple of play arounds with some script that I already had. So just to go through what I've got in my scene, this is just a plane, and then on there I've got 4 coins on mine, which are just cylinders that I've squashed, labelled up here. Um, this is my wall that's going to get destroyed, this cube, and then I've got Ethan in there as a third person. No doubt it will work with the first person. I just dropped Ethan in so I could see him. Um, Setup is fairly simple. I've got my camera on Ethan so that you can see him there, in there. The plane's there, the coin's there. This master score is just an empty game object. It's just something that will hold the score count script that we'll go over in a minute. So you just need an empty game object in there and just call it master score, or I call mine master score, just so I knew what it was. And then the cube, like I said, is the wall, or the trigger that you might want to destroy so that it kind of releases whatever you want to go into later on. There's 2 scripts that we're going to need. One is the one that actually counts up, that has the score on screen, and one is the counter that destroys the objects as well as we go, as they get collected. One thing that you'll need to do is make your controller the trigger. Well, that's how I did it anyway. Now you can't put it on the parent of the third person controller, but the way around that is to, on Ethan's body, on the body of it, to add a box collider and then make that the trigger. So not on the parent, but on the body of the avatar itself. Put a box collider, an extra one on, and make that the trigger. I made mine slightly bigger, slightly fatter, so it bumps into it nice and easily. And then that's the trigger that we're going to use. 2 scripts that we're going to look at. And don't worry too much, I'll whiz through this, but I'll send you this so that you've got it to tweak and have a look at. So we've got score count, which is, like I say, going to put up our score on screen. It's also got the script in there of what to do when you get to a set score. So variable wall here and game object is just where we drop in our cube or the item that you want to destroy. Static variable for G score, game score, starting at 0. And on the GUI, up in the top left hand corner, which is what those coordinates put it in, score colon space, so that it kind of spaces it all out nicely, plus G score, which is up here, and we'll come on to G score in a minute on the counter. And then underneath that is the if statement to tell it what to do if it gets to a certain rate. So I've got 4 simply because I've got 4 coins on there, but you can change that and tweak that as you want to go. So if the game score gets to 4, destroy the wall, which you'll be able to drop in the game object there. And I'll go back over that in a second. All right, so that's your first script. And then our counter script is simply function on trigger enter. So when the player has the trigger, walks into the collider, destroy the game object and add a score, or add 1 to the score count on the previous script, okay, which is just going up by 1 each time. And again, you can tweak those variables as you see fit. If you wanted to go up by 10 each time, so you had a bigger score rating, then you would do that. So there's our 2 scripts, just left them on screen, so if you needed to pause it, then you can and go back to it. So score count 1 is there, and then second one, counter. Alright, but I'll ping you those anyway, but if you wanted to, you can pause it and write them out yourself, because it might be just a script, they're only short. And then back in our game engine, so on the coins themselves, you want the counter script, so that as we run over them, they destroy and add to the score. And then, like I said, you've got this empty game object, which I've called master score, which is where we put our score count, so that it can come up on the screen nicely. And then this is where your variable is for whatever you want to destroy. Alright, so I've just called mine wall, dragged and dropped my cube in there. So hopefully now what should happen is when we play it, going to come around. Oh, so I can do it in a line. So we can see where we're going. So we should see a score going up in the top left here. And just before I get to the last one, I'll try and get it so we can see everything. Alright, so when I get that last one, when I pick this up, this should disappear. Which it does. Alright, so that's getting a score, a point system in place for a collection, and then once that pops it up and full, it destroys the game object, which can then release. It could be a waypoint, it could be access to a building. You could tweak that so it was released a little section, so it was a teleporter and a jump to a new scene. It's completely up to you. Alright, I know we need to look at getting the items to flash up an image on screen, but just because I had quarter of an hour to play around with it, I had a quick look at that and got that working for you. Okay, I'll see you later.